Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice. Let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. These are the words of Paul the Apostle as he wrote to the Philippian believers, chapter 4. Many of you listening may know these words by heart, but do you know where Paul was as he composed these words? He was in some form of arrest, some form of prison. Look up what Roman prisons were like. Study what first century house arrest entailed, and then answer me this. What emboldened a Paul who is in prison to speak of the lack of anxiety, to speak of thankfulness, and to speak of possessing the peace of God? When we encounter trials of various kinds, do we truly have the peace of God that Paul had? Be honest. Is this our attitude when the smallest things start to not go our way? Just something for you to consider. I'm J.D. Cantrell. I'm not a perfect guy, but I'm a man who loves Jesus and just tries to follow him. May you be blessed.
Tracy Clinic, located at 740 Main Street in Tracy City, specializes in family medicine. Nurse practitioner Devin Land Lampley is now seeing patients. Call today for an appointment at 592-4242. Open 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday. That's the Tracy Clinic. 592-4242.
Sequatchie Valley Electric Cooperative is here to serve you in your business or in your home. Pay your electric bill in the comfort of your own home with SVEC's new online billing service. Wouldn't it be nice to know in advance how much to budget for your electric bill each month? Visit us at one of our convenient offices or go online to www.svalleyec.com. Sequatchie Valley Electric, providing electrical service to over 33,000 homes and businesses in all or portions of Bledsoe, Grundy, Marion, Sequatchie, Coffee, Hamilton, Ray, and Van Buren counties in Tennessee. SVEC, staying up with today and working for tomorrow.
Good morning, everyone. Happy, glorious Thursday. Surprise!
Here we are.
We're bright today, aren't we?
This is kind of my pre-St. Patrick's.
I guess it is. Can
Right,
he show up? Because green does not show up. No,
Oh.
you're still there. All right,
Oh,
we're
am
good.
am I there?
There's a green where
That's
it will just be your head.
I totally forgot.
Yeah, I totally forgot
I
too.
know these things, but of course, the amazing producer, the renowned, legendary producer, Mr. Steven, is, keeping me present despite the
I
green.
can totally see you. I mean, look at that. Yeah, normally it
It's
would be a
kind of-
floating head.
What is this? Is it lime? It's not lima bean. It's kind of more of a, what is it? It's not neon.
No, it's like a lime. You know, there was
It's like a lime.
I judged the Miss Tullahoma pageant on Saturday.
Really?
And the young miss that won, was it young miss? Had that color dress in her large, beautiful hoop skirt, and it was stunning. Had me at hello.
Oh,
So that is a beautiful color.
Fabulous. Well, thank you. I just thought, it's got to be spring.
It really does.
Of sort, and then I've got to lean into the St. Patrick's.
Do you
event.
celebrate? No one celebrates around here.
I mean, I think I have a little Irish in me.
I bet you do.
But I don't celebrate, I guess. I mean, I really, formally don't celebrate. But
have you done your DNA?
I have.
And?
So you want to hear the craziest thing?
All right.
I did a...
And we're going to get to Medicare, I swear to goodness.
Oh, yeah, everybody wants to. Right? Right? Come on. Okay. So, it's so great to be back. It's
I know.
March. Now I had more, I had intentions of being here sooner this year, but it's just crazy nonstop. And every morning that I wake up anywhere near the vicinity of what this amazing individual has to do to be on set, I think of you.
Oh.
And I do that occasionally. I don't normally wake up early enough to... I mean, frankly, if I'm walking the doodles by, 7-ish, that's pretty good. This adjustment, how do you survive that with this boom forward hour thing?
It's just,
Did it hit you?
Of course it does. Dogs aren't happy about it. No one's happy about it.
Especially my 7-year-old, I can't believe she's 7 now, but the mama, Josie.
Is her name Josie?
Yeah, her name's Josie.
Josie.
You do?
Yeah, my curmudgeon little Catahoula is named Josie.
Josie, she is so precious. Yesterday, late afternoon, I was on a Zoom call, and all of a sudden, she just decided my lap, and she's 50 pounds, is where she's just going to chill for a minute. All of a sudden, boom, she pops up in the camera, and my business partner's like, she looks like a horse. I was like, well, I'm not on your side of the camera, but she feels like it kind of at this moment. She's just stuck a bug. But she was just laying in bed yesterday morning because we had to get going a little earlier. Sunrise is at, 10 to 7?
Something like that.
Something like that. I saw it come up this morning. And so she, so she was just kind of laying there like, I don't think so. This is way too early for us to be cruising, But we got going, and we got those 2.5 miles in and enjoying. So all that to say, I have no idea what I sidetracked from because you asked me a question. I was just simply saying I'm so glad to be back. Because
seriously, we miss you.
I miss being with you. I miss being with the friends here. I'm going to see a few out at Mike's that have just been scheduled and patiently waiting for me.
Sure, yeah.
And then pop in. I got a couple others we're going to visit that can't get out. And,
sure.
Just wrapping up some of the loose ends as we finish up what's that kind of new Medicare Advantage adjustment period. It's only for Medicare Advantage plans if they needed an adjustment and in cases where, doctor networks, whatever. So wrapping that up, but more excited about just what's happening in this new year.
Me too.
And every day.
Every single moment of
the
day.
I was just telling.
I
was just telling you before we kicked on this morning. I was thinking last night. So I wonder what we could talk about that I was celebrating. Only everything, right? Only everything. I mean, and for me, this is kind of how weird I am, okay? I'm even celebrating the doomsday stuff that all the media is doing because it's comical.
It is almost comical.
I mean, here's why it's comical to me. It's serious. I mean, my wife was very distressed a couple days ago. Oh my goodness, the economy, we're going to the Dow's down, it ended up being 890 points or whatever. Okay, which by the way was less than 2%, which it gained some back. I mean, the bottom line is when you have an S&P last year that did 24 to 31%, and it was all hype, hopium. It was generated through, things that were fed into the system to prop up current regime.
Yeah, it's a prop up.
I mean, I mean, it really was.
They added government jobs and illegals.
100%.
Yeah, that's how they propped up the economy.
When you are funneling what we now already know, billions and billions of printed dollars into the market under the guise of whatever, aid, etc. Yeah, you've got an inflated scenario, which all balloons pop or deflate at some point, right? Everybody's had a birthday balloon. Correction. So what Trump is doing, in my estimation, humbly, is he's saying, let's and this is what I told Kim last night. I said, and I heard someone else say it, so it's not original with me. So that makes it intelligent. Okay, I'm just a parrot. But this is chemo treatment. Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got a crisis, and
it's huge.
When you're diagnosed, you have a couple of options. Let's just ride this thing out soft and easy, and sometimes that is the best. Okay, but in this case, let's just aggressively treat it.
Yep.
Let's go through the whatever that we have to.
Yep.
To get, and then let's come back better than ever.
Bingo.
Right, and that's what Trump's saying. Let's go after this thing. Let's get there now. Beautifully, he doesn't fear re-election.
Nope.
Okay.
Which is another beautiful thing.
Beautiful, but even more importantly, he never did.
He never did.
So the reality is, he just knows the whims of the people could derail, and he learned this in the first term.
Yes, he did.
Right. Can derail the agenda, the plan. Because frankly, if we wouldn't have been derailed with idiocy for 4 years, he had all this moving very nice, and with a massive interruption. It was coming back, remember the V, financial V, unprecedented in history. So all that to say, we're in the chemo period.
We're in the chemo period.
And we got to suck it up, buttercup. We got to get your nutrients.
Yep.
Get your sleep. Only watch certain media for entertainment purposes, not for your moods. Speaking of moods. Mood is a chemical concoction.
What?
Yeah. We think it's like external influences, genetic. Mood is a chemical concoction. I have been listening this morning to a gentleman I've been studying for about 1.5 years now. I was just kind of mentioning it to you. But there's some incredible information. So I was going to spring something on you on the show, and I don't want to preempt our normally, schedules.
No,
we got to tell people the weather. We got to do prayer.
I'm telling you, but I told him.
I don't even know what day it is. Is it Thursday? You said that already.
Yeah, I've already told him that it's Tim Day, so all bets are off for a regularly scheduled program.
All bets are off.
All bets are off.
Well, I simply want to just, thank you, first of all, because it's a delight to join you again. And then just blend into the flow. You tell me what's... and we'll just have a good time on Thursday morning. But here's what I was going to mention. At some point, I was going to spring on you just for reaction.
Okay, all right.
With the audience.
Okay.
And I believe this, unprecedented. We tested this back in Phoenix in August. Okay. And we're going to Vegas the end of March with this.
Oh.
And it's very much, I think, an incredible opportunity for, I'm going to use the word courageous individuals, okay, to assess what we normally understand as lifespan. What would you define lifespan as? Because I want to be understood. What does lifespan mean?
Birth to death.
Yeah, number of years, right? Sometimes we call it the dash, right? That date of birth, date of passing, the dash. Right?
Yep.
And so, lifespan. Well, first of all, it's been very common throughout human history to, and I still would concur, to say only God knows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly. He knew the day of her birth. He knows the day of her death. Not that he planned it, but in his foreknowledge, he can't help but know, right? So we have that. But now there's an important component. Science, and this is established for over 20 years now, actually has the capability of knowing within about 30 days.
Oh my goodness.
When we are going to no longer be here in body. Okay. Now there's some amazing spiritual truth behind this, because Paul said it very simply. I think it's the most poignant. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord.
Amen,
okay.
Yeah.
So that's an incredible statement.
Yep.
And then in some of my favorite texts in I think it's First Thessalonians 4 and 5 is amazing. Talks about all that's going to happen and transpire toward the end of the era before the kingdom on earth happens. But in Corinthians, it's a compilation of what happens when this, it calls it earthly tabernacle, or this tent, okay, stops functioning. We put on an eternal tabernacle body, a glorified body is really what we call it. So there's some amazing spiritual and biblical promises around this. And a lot of times the idea of my termination date, right, is disturbing, when in reality, if you understand your eternal beingness, it only is, and in Corinthians, I think Paul said, our bodies groan, not to die, not to be put off, he uses the word, but to put on the glorified person, the eternal body. So imagine, perfect weight, perfect, balanced genetically, chemically. Let me go back to perfect weight. No sagging, wrinkles, whatever, which, is what we deal with. So, or at least you've heard people deal with, right? So, with that said, the glorified body is coming. And now, that termination date of this temporal, okay? So, back to that reality. Science, well over 20 years now, has pinpointed within 30 days, when necessary, how long an individual is going to live. Okay?
That is just, I don't know if I'd want to know that.
Okay, that's what I was going to find out, because here's where it has evolved for, all business drives innovation normally, right? I mean, Elon did the rocket go up, right? And documentation now confirms that 6 months earlier, under the Biden administration, this could have happened, but it was rejected for political purposes. You can only assume, right? So, all that to say, business, innovates just by organic interest. Well, 20 plus years ago, life insurance has what has been long existing, where they'll buy policies that are in place, and so it's called settlements. And then there's also large life policies that big companies put on big individuals, et cetera. So life insurance has had a capability for 20 plus years of knowing your termination date.
Wow.
Okay, and one of the guys that I was mentioning this morning, I'm going to share with you, did this for 20 years, and his name is Gary Brecka. Some of our friends might know the name. Gary Brecka. Okay. Fascinating interview I'll share, and you can share it out if you want, whatever. But for 20 years, he was studying individuals' mortality, and literally within 30 days could pinpoint when they're expiring here physically. Okay. So when you're investing 25, 30, 50 million, some of these life insurance policies, these guys want to know,
sure,
when's this over? And how safe is our bet? There are obviously things that interfere with the normal decline, okay, and so that can't be, included. But physically speaking, so all that to say, that's a high science that's existed for many, actually decades plus. We now have a compilation of that science in a small survey that takes these aging components, some lifestyle, some genetics, interestingly, very little.
Really?
Very little. So, for instance, blood pressure. Oh, yeah, my dad had high blood pressure. My mom I've got high blood pressure. So what's the gene marker for high blood pressure, right?
There isn't one.
There isn't.
Wow.
Right? So, and that's the case, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, even cancer, they say is about, now forgive me and I'll be corrected, but 10 to 15% genetically potential and 80-85% lifestyle.
I think it was
environmental.
The breast cancer that is genetic.
Very genetic.
And
okay,
prostate.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
So my wife years ago is it a BRCA test or something?
Something like that.
And they can study the genetic component,
Yep.
okay, then say, oh, your likelihood's very, very slim.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what's interesting. What they'll tell you is when they look at your lifespan potential, or longevity, we call it sometimes as well, potential, they'll say you're as likely to be dead here as you are alive. So that date doesn't guarantee this is when you drop over. It's just simply saying you're as likely to be gone at this date as you are alive at this date.
Is that an actuarial chart?
So absolutely. So actuarials are what's behind. That's the science behind. So this gentleman was an actuarial, okay? And he was more specifically an individualized actuarial. So there are actuarial charts. Life insurance, I just did a couple policies this week. One was approved, one was declined. Frankly, the guy that was declined, I was shocked. And he's going to have to get the report. We're going to have to look at what in the world caused him to do,
what did it?
Because he's very active still. He takes supplementation, but he's had a couple issues. His weight's gone up. They're seeing something that, I mean, we're talking about a $100,000 10-year policy.
Wow.
At 68, and they were like, no, thank you. Wow. What? Okay. So that surprised me. Now, with that said, we have a report that through a series of questioning, which it's about 16 questions, and watch this, facial analytics.
Oh, that's creepy.
Facial analytics. The report will tell you what your anticipated lifespan is. Included in that is why we are so fascinated and interested. By the way, this report was actually compiled by about 6 PhDs that took all of these components, and then the facial analytic science that's behind it is, of course, proprietary. So it's really just a photo of the face in resting, not lifted or we don't want a panic face, but
a pie.
Right. No chin. That's mine. Why is he taking a picture of top of his head? Because it doesn't look good from underneath. Okay, so but all that to say, boom, put it in, bam, out comes a report. And what I was going to say is, I think it does require a little courage to do that, because you look at it, and you go, what? Okay. What's interesting, David said in the Psalms, teach us to number our days, right? That we may, and forgive me, Bible scholars, I don't want to misspeak. There was a purpose.
Correct you.
I know that, so I don't want to speak. I don't want to misspeak. That we may ... because I can't remember exactly what his purpose was teaching us to number our days. But very specifically, he did say, teach us to do this, right? And a prayer to the Lord. So the reality for all humanity is we go day to day thinking what? Every day will be like today.
Yeah, I guess so.
Don't we?
Yeah.
Every day will be like today.
Just another day.
When in reality, tomorrow could be so dramatically different for the rest of our life than yesterday was. It's incomprehensible. And you've lived through some of that. Anyone with years has, where a day changes everything.
In a minute,
right? And so, but even still, we get back into the routine. And then we go. And so these momentary opportunities to pause and consider, what is available to me in this life still? This report gives it. Now, here's the reason we're interested, is because within the lifespan, there are 2 spans that we think everybody should care about. Okay. One is their health span. Okay? So how long, let's say it comes out at 85, which is an interesting, generality for males now, females, 84, 85, 86, okay.
Dad was into actuarial charts.
Really?
He said he beat it by 2 years and he's golden.
That's great.
He was so proud that he beat that flipping chart.
That's great. Yeah. See, and that, by the way, interesting, like when we talked about impact, environmentally and such, I was just listening, smoking, when I ran that one life insurance on the gentleman, his rate was like $99 a month if we got approved. If he was a smoker, it was $4.99 a month. See,
that's as it should be, by the way. Because it makes me mad when smokers get a cheaper rate than I do who try to keep healthy.
Well, and absolutely. I mean, for the addiction of nicotine, what I just heard this morning was it's actually not the nicotine that kills them. It's all the particles that come through with the pursuit of that nicotine. So the
sure.
tar and all the
that
other
yucky stuff that's
components,
in there.
right? So with nothing but great sympathy to all who choose destructive habits, which we all
absolutely.
can, drive and text on a moment that is really foolish.
Right.
But all that to say, that one singular element
That's amazing.
is amazing. Now, to that point, the one gentleman declined, another approved who was a smoker. It was a different policy, but
okay.
much smaller. But all that to say, so with respect, this study, this report that we produce, very specific, individualized, okay, at no cost. I'm going to share the website where folks can request me do that for them at no cost.
Oh my God.
Okay. Yes. Is
Oh my God.
is going to show you predicted health span. Okay. And what we call care span. So what is care span?
Right.
Kind of is self-explanatory once I mentioned. It's that window where you may likely need care before passing.
Well, my daughter's in charge of that. I mean, I'm not worrying about that. My daughter's got that. I've already told her.
Exactly. Perfect. We're doing a series of seminars coming up, and I say we, my business partner will be speaking with a partnership with the largest home care provider in Middle Tennessee. She's got over 500 caregivers that they have in families' homes every day. Okay. So, when you get at a high level and you see volume like that, you start seeing patterns, you start seeing realities. These are all the things I've been immersed in last year and now again this year as we're moving this forward with our endeavor to really specialize in something we think doesn't exist in the marketplace, and we continue to prove that. We just had a big call yesterday with wonderful new friend who's in the Medicare world. Met them at the Certified Senior Advisor Conference in Phoenix last year. But they are just closing a deal, which I can't mention their name, so I won't. But I can mention GoodRx, which is massive.
Yeah, I've heard of GoodRx.
Yeah. And a lot of our folks know, in some cases where they've got a drug plan in place, okay, under Medicare, even then, using GoodRx, they might get that medication cheaper, and it doesn't ding their total out-of-pocket scenarios. So a lot of our folks know GoodRx. All that to say, massive presence in the discount pharmaceutical transparency pricing universe. I like what they're doing. Pharmacies, generally accept Mike's where they're so transparent about everything.
Yep.
And there's many, many other good ones, but Mike's none better. It keeps pharmacies honest, and that's kind of an interesting concept because for how many years did we not know? We could charge us whatever, and we just pay it.
Same with hospitals, doctors, yeah.
Exactly. So I had to pick up actually a prescription for my Golden Doodle at Kroger a couple weeks ago. So Dixie Bell is now on my Kroger pharmacy plan, and but I was able to price. I was at the vet, and they were like, "Okay, yeah, she needs this for her UTI, and it's going to be $80." I'm like, "And how about no, thank you?" And well, they're like, "Okay, and actually, you could pick that up at your local pharmacy as long as you show them the script and tell them it's your dog, and you can pay human prices because it's a human grade pharmaceutical." I was like, "Thank you," and I went and got it for $30. So, yeah, so there's things. It's fun when transparency starts happening. It's really frustrating. And I'm going to go right here again with our seniors and say it's just astonishing how vulnerable they are.
Oh, yeah.
Every time, literally this week, I've had several phone calls. When I mention phone fraud for Medicare, I've had responses like, I've had 30 calls today. I've had 40 calls today. I don't answer them, but they bombard my phone with Medicare.
That's ridiculous.
I've got one lady we're reworking to get her back on the plan because she took a call and she told me, please share this. Okay, and I wouldn't share names. But she took a call. She was having a conversation because they told her they could improve her current plan. She didn't want to change her plan. She told them she didn't want to change her plan. We can improve your current plan. A couple weeks later, she gets a new card in the mail. Doctor doesn't take it. Pharmacy's not in network. What's going on? I said, your only recourse is to call Medicare and absolutely tell them it was fraudulent, and they will put you back where you need to be. And so thankfully she did, and but without us talking, she was embarrassed because she thought I didn't give them permission, but what do? I should never talk to them. It's okay because they're so stinking good at this.
They're really good at it.
They're just it's disgusting. Now there's a lot of this texting. I don't know if you're seeing. My wife and I were in Florida for a couple days, a couple weeks ago, and popped in, driving around. All of a sudden, texts pop up on my phone and her phone, and it says, "Your outstanding tolls will."
I got one of those.
Right.
I haven't drove anywhere.
Okay, so in Miami, you can be in a back alley and it's a toll road. I mean, you can't escape toll roads in Miami. So I was like, oh, I'm right in the middle of that moment. And I'm looking at it, and I just hit report and junk, delete.
Okay.
Right. Report and delete.
Okay.
Boom. Well, my wife gets it. She's looking at her, we're driving around a little bit. And I'm like, she goes, is this real? I said, no, that is not real. Okay. So crazy. 2 days later, I'm talking to Mom, who's in Minnesota. And she's like, oh, one thing I need to talk to you about. Maybe while you were in Florida, I ended up getting a bill for a toll, and I just wanted to know, what should I do with that? I'm like, what? They went through the whatever numbers, and millions of people got these. You got it.
I got it.
It actually it hit some national publications saying, hey, if you're getting this text, it's fraudulent. Okay. And of course, if you're in Grundy County driving around, you get a toll thing.
Like, are you kidding?
You're
we
going to
don't
be
have
like,
tolls in Tennessee.
Exactly.
At all.
Right. But, my mom, instantly in Minnesota, who's not even been out much, assumes it's maybe me.
And just trying to help out.
Because she knows, and she's like, what should I do with that? I mean, do you want me to pay it? I'm like, Mom, don't open it.
Because what happens when you open it? Like,
well, what happens is they drop, and I'm no tech expert. Did I need to say that? No. So they drop things into your operating system.
No.
So I'll tell the story with permission. My wife is still devastatedly embarrassed by it. So I won't name the person it happened to. But did that give it away? Okay. So 3 years ago, she gets a call from Apple, and Apple says, your phone has been hijacked. We need to go in, double check a couple things, secure, and remove this. Oh. And she's like, okay, what do you mean? And they're like, well, just look at your phone right now. Things are happening. You're not doing anything, are you? It's like, no, I'm not. Oh, my word. Okay, yeah. No, okay, so what we're going to do now is go into this app, and she's like, okay. Yeah, and just push okay there, because we got to clear that out. Okay. Listen, the short version of this was that late afternoon, she says, I've got to go to Lowe's. Okay. And my wife's a realtor, and she's in the, space, and Lowe's, I mean, you could pick up snack bars there if you needed to. I mean, so whatever reason, I'm like, cool. So, you want me to go? Yeah. If you just drive, we'll go over. Yeah, okay, I'll drive. Let's go and grab supper. Okay. Why are we going to Lowe's? Well, I've got to do something in the parking lot at Lowe's. In the parking lot? Well, yeah, they said I've got to be in the parking lot of Lowe's to be. Okay, so what do you think we're doing in the parking lot? Well, once I get to the parking lot, then they're going to, so who's they? And she gives me the backstory. Well, Apple called, da-da-da-da-da-da. So when I get to Lowe's, then they can clear that virus out. So literally, they could take her geographically into a place and then use her card for hundreds, thousands of dollars, whatever was on it, at a destination online, but because she showed then the card would approve it. Because there's all this geotagging.
Yeah, the geofencing stuff is amazing.
Geofencing, all that, right? So, I'm like, hold it, honey.
Wow.
Let's talk. Like, you think this is not Apple?
You think?
I'm like, by the way, again, no disclosing of the individual this took place with. They don't call you.
No, they don't.
Okay, Medicare doesn't call you.
Right.
If you have any doubt, call Medicare and wait for 2 hours. And then ask yourself, did they call me? Because when I call them, they don't answer.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Social Security doesn't call you.
No, they don't.
Apple doesn't call you. Amazon doesn't call
Police
you.
doesn't call you saying you've got a warrant out. Yeah.
No, police don't call you,
No.
right? The fire department knock at your door for a donation. That's fair.
Yeah, that's
okay. But all that to say, I'm like, whoa, babe, we got to, with no, again, protecting the guilty. So I'm like, you got to call your bank right now.
Yeah.
Before they close. So she calls her bank. The bank's like, okay, we're freezing everything. That night, there was a request for $28,000 to her bank account.
Oh my God.
There were thousands of dollars on her credit cards that had gone out. And there were Google cards that had been purchased and payments made that could not be retrieved for the purpose of making sure they get this fixed and then the monies would be refunded. And so it was shocking. What is it? The Tennessee
TBI.
Bureau, TBI got involved. They found the source. They could never track the person. All this is, all filtered. All that to say, they were like, listen, this is one of the biggest, that we've seen. And here's where it emanated from. They traced it back on her phone. She was in a Cancun airport. She traveled with a girlfriend. They were doing a little trip. And while she was in the airport, she was using that Wi-Fi.
That dang Wi-Fi.
Without, here comes VPN, Virtual Private Network, VPN.
That's a HTTPS.
So
right?
anytime you need public Wi-Fi, you got to have, and all phones now, literally, mine's AT&T, but right here, if you go, boom, to the settings, right here you see VPN, not connected. Now this is one I've purchased, but AT&T's got a built-in one. You go connect on your VPN, connecting, and shortly it'll say connected.
And that will keep you safe?
And now VPN's up there. So now what does that really mean? Whenever you are online with your VPN on, they see you in Miami, they see you in Italy, they do not see you in Grundy County. So what they're doing is locally searching the network to see who they can hack into. You're not even there, but you're there online. So virtual private network. So anyways, all to say, they traced it back. They said they planted, and by the way, this is a year earlier. They planted a little Trojan whatever in the phone, just let it sit. And then tick, 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 boom, they turned it on, called her. Hey, we've got problems on your phone.
Oh my!
Okay.
See, that's so flipping crazy.
It's so crazy. So, but all that to say, so our seniors have just been getting bombarded with these calls, and then on top of it, they're being told this, Doge is going after Medicare, Doge is going after Medicaid. Listen, if you're fraudulently taking payments from Medicaid,
if you're 200 years old and you're cashing checks,
exactly. Right. If you're older than the country is, 250 we're celebrating, right? I mean, this fraud, waste, and abuse. Every year I have to take tests for every carrier confirming that I'm on the lookout for fraud, waste, and abuse. Okay? I have report hotlines. I have methodology I can go through to protect my everything's about fraud, waste, and abuse on every carrier, federal certification, state certification. But then when we actually do it, what? Give me a break. And, like death threats. This guy that's heading this whole thing up, what has he lost? Billions of dollars of net worth in this 60-day period. Yeah. Now, we probably didn't recognize Abraham Lincoln when he was Abraham Lincoln, right? We celebrated him after. Mm-hmm. We probably didn't celebrate Einstein when he was Einstein, but we celebrated him after. I'm not saying he's, Michael the Archangel. I'm saying he's Michelangelo.
But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. So,
yeah.
Do you think that will help us everything be solvent? Do you think the pain that we're going through right now will put us on the right path?
I think the best analogy that I've heard, once again, parroting wisdom, right, is this is the chemo treatment.
Yep.
Okay, for the economy.
Yep.
And anybody that's dealt with that scenario knows that that's a hellish period. But you do it for the outcome, not for the, Jesus put it this way, for the joy that was set before him. He endured the cross, right? So if you've seen the Passion, the agony that was depicted there, I think still doesn't fully identify all he went through, because the psychological and the spiritual, etc. But the joy that was set before him. I think we have leadership right now, and I'll just use Elon Musk's comments. I watched him interviewed on just last week, but financial interview. It was Kudlow, Larry Kudlow. The pain that was in Elon's eyes as he addressed certain questions that Larry presented about what he's going through personally.
Oh, jeez.
Was palpable. If you couldn't see it, he's not an actor. Elon, what do they call it? Asperger's?
He has no filter.
No, he has no filter.
He can't lie.
Like with that, I don't know what you'd call that complication.
It's a blessing.
They don't even feel like literally joy. If someone's yay, they have to yeah. Someone's weeping. I'm so sorry. I mean, they literally have to parrot emotion, as I understand that.
That's my understanding as well.
I don't want to call it disease, but complication, right? It's some type of genetic scenario there. So all that to say, watching this interview, he said, Larry, we have to do this. Our country is bankrupt and will dissolve if we don't address this. And it was interesting. I don't think he said is headed toward bankruptcy.
Will be.
I mean, absolutely. If you look at the numbers, when the debt, just paying the debt, interest, is greater than our defense spending, that, I remember for years in financial studies, there was that warning, like, if this ever happens, we're done. It's happened.
It's happened.
And we acted like it was nothing. 20 million people. I have an issue with that number. It's okay. 12 million. Whatever number you want to use. Millions illegally infiltrated and then began sucking up resources, right? Premier hotel rooms in New York, buildings full, paid for by the taxpayers. That's the other thing I think that's really starting to become a reality is it's not the federal government paying for this. It's us, right?
Well, we had an incident in Franklin County, a scam, similar to what you're saying, an elder, by Chinese nationalists in Franklin Flippin County.
See?
And they took out like 28. She must have answered a phone call or clicked on something. It was an elder.
Yep.
And it somehow got 28,000. Is that like a magic number? 28,000 out of her account.
Might be.
And then she had to go meet them to get it back and give them cash. It was some bizarre thing that if her daughter had not gotten involved.
Yeah.
And so that's how they caught Chinese nationals.
Yeah. Okay, so you're prompting me to say something that I think is so important right now. As we're meeting with and counseling families on what we call a care funding consultation. This is the new machine that we're building. We're finding two things. We're finding the aging parent is understandably not wanting to dump on the child. Okay, so as I noted, we're beginning seminars in April, Vanderbilt Hospital, different big venues that I'm excited to be bringing some thought to. And I'll shoot you the dates.
We have
and
a Healthy
things.
Tennessee career fair, or not a career fair, a fair in March 29th.
Okay.
You've made.
We'd it's probably short notice, but we'd love to, understand where we could
I'll talk
involve
about
ourselves.
that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because so information is so critical. That's the key. So as I'm talking with the aging adult, okay, they're trying to manage their business. I'll start with my own parents. Up there for 10 days in January, it threw my year off in a wonderful way, because I got to be part of helping, but in a challenging way. And so what I found is, they don't want to disclose things.
No, they don't.
Because they're private and they're adults, right? And so they're supposed to take care of their business, and everybody's made mistakes. Everybody's made some lapses in judgment or decisions that in hindsight weren't as good as we thought in the moment. Mm-hmm. These are all realities. So, whatever the force is, there's privacy there. Then when we deal with the adult children who are at the point of crisis in their parents' care needs, I find frustration. Sometimes I find anger. Like, I can't believe our father did this to our mother. Left her. We call it wiping her out on his way out financially. Wow. Okay. And reversed mortgaged the home, and we never knew about it. Now the home's worth nothing, and she needs to move out, but we don't have funds to do this and that. There's all these layers that it's always better. We call it pre-crisis planning. Mm-hmm. It's always better to, as painful as that can be sometimes, so back to the health span, care span, lifespan report, right? It's always better to have a working knowledge of what you're preparing for than to go blindly into the snowstorm. Now, we're all made up differently. And it's not necessarily in my DNA to plan big, long, far out. And there's sometimes in life where you just want to know you're kind of on track, and you'll get more planning as you have capability to deal with it. There's all these forces. But with that said, the challenge that we confront often is a lack of communication between the adult child and the parent. Adult child and the parent. Okay. Yeah. So with the reference you made earlier about your plan and your daughter, the most important part of that plan is, has she agreed? Okay, that's the most important part. Has she signed on? The second, okay, beautiful. The second part then becomes, as oddly as it sounds, because you're young, vivacious, amazing. You've got,
I have life insurance until 73.
Beautiful. Okay. You're wasting your money. You're going to live well past that. So, but that's a safety net. That's a beautiful safety net provided for your family members. You probably should give consideration now versus later to something more permanent that is possibly smaller but meaningful, that will last. Okay. Because what happens a lot of times, I'll give you a perfect example. My dad had $150,000, actually it was 300, cut to 150 to trickle. He's 83 this summer, and they're going to pay him a whopping $6,000 when he dies, right? Wow. Because his payment stayed the same, $125 a month, but his benefit went from 300 to 6,000. Wow. So what would be better, and what I did years earlier, was put a 15,000 on him that's permanent. Okay. And half the payment, less whatever it was. In his case, he had 2 massive heart attacks. I still got him insured for, I don't remember what it was, $70-$80 a month. But that's a meaningful amount that we projected back then to say, hey, if he passes his mid-80s, 15,000 still covers expenses. And it's guaranteed to be there. Okay. So there's strategies there that you want to just entertain a little bit, couple with what you've got, kind of things. But all that to say, with the planning, okay, the most important part is communication, right? So who will be involved? And in the case that so this is going to touch on something that I came this morning with on my heart as I was kind of processing thought and personal importance and things of that nature. Isolation. On this teaching this morning, he reiterated this. Cuts lifespan in half.
What?
Isolation.
So
this is an actuarial. This is a scientist who studied for 20 years, could pinpoint within 30 days when someone's going to. Isolation cuts lifespan in half. So here's the classic example. Couple married 60 years, right? 85 years old, she passes, he passes, whichever goes first. On the chart, 95 lifespan. Okay. One spouse passes at 85, we all know that it's literally diagnosed as heartbreak syndrome.
Yeah.
Right.
Within a year, they pass
many
away.
times.
Mm-hmm.
So the science said another 10 years.
Sure.
Say year 2, max 5 without the spouse gone. So cut lifespan in half. Wow. Well, that's a scientific fact. Isolation cuts lifespan in half. So what are our young people doing today? They're in their bedrooms.
Yeah.
They're on their phones.
Yeah.
They're non-engaged. What's shocking to me, and I'm at fault. Like, I walk my neighborhood. Occasionally I say, hey, how you doing? I don't. Like,
no more block parties. I mean, remember when you said block parties? Yeah.
I mean, in this isolation, this is the beautiful part of coming up here. Wow. You can't talk to someone who doesn't know other people I'm going to talk to. It's a beautiful what it was meant to be universe.
Yeah.
And so I came up this morning thinking, number one for lifespan, number one is purpose. That's number one.
Wow.
So all the studies they've done, and amazing studies I just heard recap this morning, just waking up with maybe it's the garden.
Yeah.
I'm going to take care of the garden. I'm going to grow the tomatoes. But purpose is number one. Maybe it's deeper than that. And what's fascinating is isolation has never been higher, and yet communication capabilities have never been higher.
I know.
Right? So sometimes we sit and sulk when I could send 10 texts out and just say, hey, I want you to know you're amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful you're my life. And all of a sudden, 8 come back saying, great to hear from you. Somebody just did this to me the other day. And it was a marketing guy that we didn't hire, but had a great meeting with, became friends with. And he's like, hey, just thinking about you, man. How's it? I was like, dude, that's amazing. And now I know he's got 4 children instead of 3. And he knows I've got twin grandbabies instead of none. And, and he just pinged me. And it's probably part of a marketing campaign. I don't care. It probably happened in an auto-generated text form. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
It didn't, because it had too much personal component. But it doesn't matter. Engaging each other, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what's beautiful out here. I enjoy that. I miss that. But
so that can help your lifespan. See, our show is our connection with each other.
I was thinking of that as I came up. This is what IVA does for us every morning. You connect us. You let us join into this conversation, and I'm monopolizing it.
I told everyone it's Tim Day.
No, I love being able to share, and as I noted, you're the best listener and authentic conversationalist. I know it's organic in you to just be curious and hear where people are at and who they are and what's happening, and you have a gift to that.
Well, I just want to learn every day.
Absolutely, right? That's an element of purpose.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. Adding to this is a organic mass, and dementia in its simplest definition is shrinking brain. It's scientifically, when they do the MRIs, it's just shrinking. So there is natural decline, and my bicep is proof. I'm like, what? I didn't used to have to try to, build it. What happened? Okay. But that happens to the brain. So picking up, I'm not going to disclose how much I curled yesterday, but it was a lot less than I did when I, was doing it some time ago. But, picking up and doing this, right, versus, as you noted, every day, feeding this, expanding this, exercising this. So that's huge. But you give that right here on the show.
Well, and speaking of knowledge, all right, so we know isolation. All right, so we know, like, just to say I go in there and I'm like, oh, it says, 86. But I can then, by my own choices, make that less or make it more?
Absolutely. So,
wow.
So obvious you could make it less, right? You could, you could binge drink. You could, very dangerous, the drug scene today. Sure, very dangerous.
And pharmaceuticals,
Yeah, somebody said, what's wrong with the Canada border? Nothing there. Recently we seized 27 pounds of what's the big
fentanyl.
Okay, 27 pounds. You put that in a big suitcase and it's only half weight, right? They said that amount of fentanyl would kill something like 4.8 million people. I mean, it would neutralize just an insane number. Maybe it was 4.8 billion. It was an astonishing number of humanity. Okay, so very dangerous scene. Well, we know these things. Like, if I'm going to, die by dessert, it's going to take me a long time, right? But if I binge drink or I smoke incessantly, we know these things impact our longevity.
Okay.
But more importantly, and this is the thing, like my dad, massive heart attack at 50, massive heart attack at 60. He's now coming on 83. Amazing. Yeah. Praise God. But I will tell you, at 50, when he was medically told he has half a heart, it wasn't just a medical reality. It was a physical limitation for the rest of his life. My dad changed, in his ability to work like he used to push like he used to frankly think like he used to, okay? By the way, cholesterol, hugely critical component in the makeup chemically of our body.
What?
Huge. We can have that conversation.
That's another conversation.
Huge. Okay. And what do we do with statins? Push cholesterol down.
And we want cholesterol. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I just heard this morning, high LDL, HDL, low tris, fabulous concoction for longevity. Okay. So why have the LDLs been the focus? We've always said the LDLs are the bad cholesterol. And that's what they target and drive down with statins. Statins pushing down on the cholesterol amount. Cholesterol is the core component to creating the cellular structure, the vein development, all of these things. Crazy conversation right there. So still learning every day, right? Wanting to learn more and understand more. But what I'm going to share with you, this talk, we need to be talking about it more, because I think what you can share to our friends, it comes back to this. We know if we do certain activities, we can shorten our life. Yep. Okay, 60 miles an hour into a brick wall, definite. That shortens. But we can also shorten our health span. While our life, again, my dad going to be 83 this summer, we celebrate. But, by the way, statins, major impact on cognitive.
No.
So dementia skyrocketing. What is also skyrocketed in the medication prescriptions? And I'm not a pharmacist, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying stop anything.
Right.
I want to say that because, we have amazing pharmacist Mike at the center of that, amazing doctors. I'm just saying explore the facts.
Maha.
Exactly. And you know what I loved? And this is reiterated again this morning. Maha is not about taking choices from you. It's about making you aware of choices.
So you can make good choices.
Exactly. Right? Like so you're saying fruit roll-ups probably aren't my fruit intake for the day? No, right? That's just, so I should actually just do an apple instead of that pressed down, rubberized, peel it off the plastic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I grew up, I was like,
we all did.
That was my fruit serving, okay? And
you're making good choices as a mom by giving out fruit roll-ups.
It's amazing what my daughter's doing with her twins, who are now 9.5 months and just started crawling last weekend. It's so beautiful. But it's so amazing because she's aware of these things and she's putting things into them so early now that are just really coming back to the whole food, which... I mean, here,
we knew that, but
of course,
but we forgot. It's so much easier with all of us focusing on being so busy and that food that you just need to get them fed.
Yep. Get them fed, entertain them.
Yep.
So we can go back to what's important.
Yep.
My daughter has really rocked my world and my wife's at how dedicated, like, just so incredible. And it's twins, so it's double time. But every mother that gives themselves to their children is the greatest gift to humanity.
Amen.
To humanity. And I was a child. I have been a father, and now I am a grandfather. And I'm watching it from a step back where the kids come in for 8 hours. My wife has an incredible glamour day with the babies, right? and I'm in my office, and I'll pop in and be like, "Hey, do you need me for a second? Would you mind just laying with the girls here while they're playing with their toys? And I'm going to run and make their bottles." And I'm like, "This, of course I can do that. I got this." So I'm laying there in the blanket, and they're not even crawling. This is last week. And I'm looking at Isla. I'm looking at Harper. I'm looking at Isla. I'm looking at Harper. Isla's doing something. I'm like, "Isla, what is it?" 10 seconds. I look back. Harper's headed toward the outlet and has already pulled the deal out of the... I'm like, "You're not even crawling yet." She was backpedaling to the house. Oh my gosh, Grandpa. Just strike this from the record. My daughter will forbid me from watching. But, I mean, literally, my wife's gone 4 minutes, and I'm like, oh my God. I was stressed, right? These mothers are doing this 24 hours a day. God bless everyone. And so, greatest contribution to humanity.
Amen.
What mothers invest.
Mothers and fathers, we were talking about that yesterday, how important it is to have a mother and a father in the household.
Yes.
And how
Yes.
Dad always told me that back when they took fathers out of the black homes, during that
Yes.
Great Society or whatever it was from Johnson,
Yes.
he said that decimated the black families.
The evidence is there. It's abundant. The black population was very consistent in their dual parenting model up into a government program point that unequivocally was designed to strip the father from the home setting, because that home then becomes dependent on another entity.
It's like a plantation.
It's horrifying.
It's keeping folks poor.
Sure. I think I'll cite Candace Owen as the best outspoken source, and the right to speak to it, because it's astonishing how, again, vulnerable that group of people are, not have become or anything else, but are. And so with respect, the lifespan scenario and what you can do to impact it is most importantly now at mid-50s. Okay. What can I do to impact my health span? Right? What can I do to live vibrantly, comfortably, impactfully, like I want to, get up and help someone I can. There are influences outside of what we control. We all know this. We have no guarantee of tomorrow. We all know this. But what I can do today to help my 80-year-old self still be
that's my
vibrant,
goal.
right?
Yeah, that's my goal.
I mean, that's
not be a hindrance.
Right.
I want to be a help.
That's a powerful, right. And here's what I've noticed in a way that broke my heart in January, as my mom was in ICU with the combination flu pneumonia, and as she said 2 days ago, didn't think she was coming home. She would say with tears, "I just don't want to be a burden." Yeah. Right?
That's me, yeah.
I mean, I think generally speaking, humanity has that innate interest to not burden each other. Right? And then, of course, there's the beautiful sacrificial serving of each other that we are blessed to do. And frankly, every morning that I think of you here, I know you're doing that.
I try.
And each doing it in their way feeds their soul, right? And so all of that put together, what can I do to impact my health span? And then realistically, so very simple. Gary White of the, Dana White, of the UFC empire that he built from nothing, okay? 2 years ago, it's actually almost 2.5 now, when this gentleman, Gary Brecka, did his study on him, he said the middle of the night, his lab called him, Gary, and said, "Whoever we just ran the blood work on is on death's doorstep."
Shut the front door.
Like he said, you don't even need to wait till 7 a.m.
Oh my
You
goodness.
need to call him,
and
you need to get with him. Like, this is that critical.
No.
So what can they measure? Well, homocysteine levels are one. So homocysteine levels skyrocketing in your body. When's the last time your doctor measured your homocysteine levels? I've got to have my wellness check coming up.
Me too.
Guess what? Most of the blood work they do is not going to facilitate you understanding things we're talking about.
What kind of blood test do I ask
so
for?
Actually, what I'm going to do is get that list because I'm going for my wellness check. And last year I told my doctor, I said, Doc, this is a joke. You know this is a joke.
Yeah.
He goes, I know it's a joke. He goes, this is what they pay for. Well, I say it's a joke because for a generally healthy person,
yeah,
you don't find out anything.
No, you don't.
Now, for a person that's declining rapidly and they'll identify something, thank God.
Yeah.
But, when you cross your leg and they go, okay, good. I'm like, nothing happened, Doc. Am I dead or what? No, I saw a little movement. Is that what we're still doing to determine my health status?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it done for the blood work every year.
Right, for the blood work. Okay, so one of the best tests of your longevity is the sit-stand test. So that's just a simple, how quickly and how comfortably can you get out of a chair without assistance, okay?
Without using your hands?
Yes. That should be a goal every day to exercise just for the simple sit-stand.
Shut the front door.
Absolutely routine, okay? So now there's couches that have a proclivity to suck me in and not release me.
Yeah, I have one of those.
And when we know, right, those are needed.
I'm never getting out of that thing.
Those are needed, furnitures. But just sitting in a normal chair, put your feet on the ground, can I stand up? Well, what if I can't? Then there's basically 5 human exercises that you can do that address your core functional elements.
Which is
you can do them,
things we lose as we
right.
age.
You can do them every day. They're very simple. One of them is a body squat. And it can start with just lowering yourself a little at the knees, just a little, until you can actually do a full up and down. And then you do 10, and then you do 15.
Wow.
And then you do 2 sets of 15 a day. Just body. See, one of the things we're like, well, if I had a gym, frankly, I put a little Tim gym in my garage. I call it the Tim gym. And too often my wife says it's just a gym because there's no Tim, right? Even when it's right out my door. My wife's like, is there something wrong with the gym? Because there's no Tim. I'm like, and I literally, this is what a low down dirtbag I am. I'm like, honestly, babe, since you're asking, those 2 car seats over there by my dumbbells, they're a little bit invasive. And you know what she does? She moves them. She resits. Like, it's gorgeous in there. And so yesterday I said, okay, dirtbag, you literally need to be in the Tim gym, right? But it's not like we're lacking something.
Right.
We can do these things.
We can do
squats,
it.
okay?
Yeah.
Body weight squats. Another is the I'll give you a list. It's super simple.
All right.
Little crunches that don't affect your back or your neck when you do them correctly. That just start to tighten the abdomen. This core, which I have plenty of, is so critical,
it's
right?
It's huge for balance and everything.
It's everything.
Everything.
I've got back issues. No, you've got core issues.
You've got core issues.
Now, you might have now physical back issues, right, that have, or there might be, again, there's all these elements like a car accident, fractured vertebra. I mean, these are there's real issues, physiological things that happen in the body. But most of it, okay, so for instance, my mood is disrupted. I'm depressed. This is this time of year in particular. Right now, gorgeous sunny days. We're going to hit 80 yesterday, today, whatever. These help. Yeah. Because we literally feed off the sunlight. Absolutely. Okay? But in our gut, there are 4 components that are created that determine. Remember I said mood is a concoction, chemical concoction, that determine our mood in our gut. And you'll listen, you'll hear it. It's just a refresher. This one's an incredible refresher on so many points. But let's talk about very simply what we control. That's what we got to do. What we control. So we call it the life path predictor. Right. Okay. And your reaction is so common to what I've seen. People are like, oh my word, that would be, it's fun to talk about, well, only God knows. Well, that'd be something to know, wouldn't it? Well, you can.
Oh my goodness. And you can do it for us?
At no cost. Oh my. Okay. So right now we've got it set up at lifepathpredictor.com. Okay. Okay. You go there, you can read about it. You can jump on my calendar. I do a 15-minute conversation where I just do the verbal intake, upload a photo, we get a report.
Oh my gosh.
So it's best for me to explain the report. That's why we take that 15 minutes. Because when you see it, you'll be like, well, why is that? What's this line for? What's that? Real quickly, that's this.
So no blood test.
No blood test. Okay, so you asked me earlier about genetic testing.
Yeah.
So here's the crazy part. My wife and I bought 2 kits, the best in the business. And by the way, if you go online and you follow the advertisements on Facebook, you'll pay $500 to $700 to $1,000 for these. I can share the link with you on Amazon. I got 2 kits for $160.
Oh, wow.
$80 a kit, okay? It does the DNA. It does the ancestry, okay? All of that, cheek swab.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So here's the crazy part. We did that. Right as Medicare started, I got our reports back. Because it takes I think it takes 3 or 4 weeks. So if you're anxious to do this, we can send the link. I don't override any of that. That's just direct to Amazon. It's the cheapest and best I could find.
Sure.
And then they'll do a consult with you. I have not opened a report.
What?
I have not opened them because I'm so waiting for this moment where my wife and I can sit with our coffees. So what does your DNA look like? What is your genetic ancestry? And so then we go to Miami for a couple days, I thought for sure out on the veranda, which is just a balcony overlooking a pool, we snuck into the Trump Doral Resort. I was kind of joking when I said I hopped the wall, because obviously you wouldn't hop a Trump wall and survive. No, but the Marriott had an arrangement with Trump, so you could go over there on the day pass and enjoy. So all that to say, I envisioned we're going to have just a nice couple of hours. We're going to look all it. Didn't even open them.
So you still have not opened them?
I still haven't opened them. So I'm going to, but here's an example. There's a genetic marker that about 40% of us have, okay? Just this morning he was talking about it, that affect the uptake of one of the 4 components within our gut that affects our mood. Okay?
Geez.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So what it is, there's an uptake into the brain receptors of there's everybody knows there's serotonin, mm-hmm. there's dopamine, mm-hmm. there's 2 others I can't not remember on the spot, but for instance, serotonin taken up, okay, dopamine taken up into the receptor. Well, if you're not having enough sent up, you're depressed.
Oh wow.
Okay, sent up from the gut. So if you're depressed, they don't measure what's coming from the gut. They address what's happening in the brain, and they give you a medication that basically suppresses, forgive me to all the medical professionals, please correct everything I'm saying where it's wrong, suppresses the receptor. So if let's say the receptor wants 100% and you're sending up 25%, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it makes sense. From the source to here, I'm only getting 1/4 of what I should be, okay? The medication suppresses this to an expectation level of 50 or 25%.
So that it equals out.
So it equals out.
Oh,
and so now
goodness.
You feel balanced, when in reality, it wasn't a chemical issue here, it's a chemical issue here. And what they did here is lowered the expectation. It's not unlike anything that we're taking. We know if we start taking something, our body stops producing. Now, in the case of a type 1 diabetic, they can't produce insulin.
Yeah.
They've got to have insulin synthetically injected for their body to function. But a type 2 diabetic, there's myriad of them who will talk. As soon as I lost the weight, balanced my diet, I didn't need insulin anymore.
I mean, Stephen's like, we got to thank our sponsors. Holy cow.
Oh my gosh.
Do I even want to look?
I don't know. Do we? What is it? Is it like tomorrow already?
It's like 9 o'clock.
It is not. No, it is not. Everybody's asleep. Everybody's like, I woke up for. Boom.
I knew it was going to be that day. That is hilarious. All right, we're going to go on a quick break, thank our sponsors, and we'll be right back. As always, thanks for watching Morning on the Mountain.
Oh my gosh.
TennCare's new diaper benefit helps our youngest members and their families stay healthy and happy. If your child is younger than 2 and has 10 care or cover kids, they can get up to 100 diapers every month at no cost. To get diapers, visit a participating pharmacy. You don't need a prescription. Just show your child's pharmacy card at the counter. For newborns without a card, you can use the parent's pharmacy card. The pharmacy staff will check to see if you qualify and help you get up to 100 diapers for a month. 10 Care will cover a variety of diaper brands and sizes to meet your child's needs. You can find a list of covered brands on the 10 Care diaper webpage.
Diapers are available at Mike's Pharmacy, located at 740 Main Street in Tracy City. That's Mike's Pharmacy, 592-9190.
Piggly Wiggly, a supermarket chain since 1916, operates more than 600 locally owned stores, including the Monteagle location that now stocks the largest selection of fine wine, domestic and import beer in the area. Piggly Wiggly's farm fresh fruit is a sweet deal at everyday low prices. Piggly Wiggly stocks carefully selected, always fresh vegetables from the common to the unusual. All of the organic products we sell meet strict USDA guidelines. The Pig has a large meat department that to this date custom cuts and wraps its pork, chicken, and certified Angus beef to your request. Certified Angus beef brand is a cut above USDA Prime Choice and Select. With a large dairy selection of fresh milk and cheese products and your favorite drink products, you will never go home thirsty from the Pig. Visit the Piggly Wiggly Deli and put in your order for an outstanding selection of cheeses, salads, and deli meat products from Boar's Head brand and more. Be sure to check out our weekly special circular for great deals. That's the Piggly Wiggly of Monteagle, Tennessee.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mircea Basaraba.
And I'm Mara Hutchings, nurse practitioner. Welcome to Southern Tennessee Cardiology.
Do your legs swell, ache, and feel heavy after a long day? Or do your calves cramp up when you climb stairs? You could have a circulation problem. Here at Southern Tennessee Cardiology, we specialize in diagnosing and treating disease in both arteries and veins. With on-site ultrasound and an in-office procedure room, we will have your legs feeling great in no time.
Save gas, save time, save money, Save a Lot. The name says it all. Locally owned and operated, Save a Lot of Tracy City promotes shopping locally on the mountain. Come check out the clean, organized store where hometown folks like you save with weekly specials from the Weekly Shopper. Experienced employees choose our products very carefully and keep a large selection of fresh produce and fruit stocked, offering you the best deals for the best possible quality. With a primetime butcher on staff, expect fresh meat cut and packaged on location. Or request your favorite cuts while shopping name brands and Save a Lot brands in our frozen food sections, and fresh milk and dairy products always up to date. Friendly, helpful faces are on staff for any requests and questions you may have. Open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Stay on the mountain. Shop at your locally owned Save a Lot. The name says it all.
Right, real quick, what is today? Thursday?
It is.
You know what we're going to get in, Tim? We're
Tell
going to
me.
do birthdays,
Let's
and
do
we're
it.
going to do the prayer list.
Okay.
And then we'll take a couple calls. What time do you have to leave? I know.
I have a 10 o'clock appointment. I can stay
so
till
we're
9:30.
good. Okay.
I'm great.
Okay, good. All right. So I didn't
Yes.
want to. I know there's a lot going on. All right.
Yes.
So let's talk about birthdays. Today
Okay.
is Thursday. Is it the 13th?
It's the 13th.
Wow.
Thursday the 13th.
Wow. And our spring break starts next week.
Okay. I saw school was still in this morning.
Yeah, Mary. Yeah. So anyway, so we got that. Let's go into birthdays here.
Okay.
Any
It's a big
birthdays
day.
in your world?
Not today that I'm remembering, but it's a big day for somebody.
And you, if they want to get a hold of you, is there any things that can be done? Are we past that point where they can change?
We have to the end of March.
End of the March.
On Medicare.
Okay.
So if there are any complications that have arisen on their Medicare Advantage plan only,
Okay.
Okay.
So any
we
complications?
can make an adjustment. As mentioned, I'm visiting one couple today that can't get out, but they had an issue with a doctor and a network, and we're going to have to move the plan just because of that one issue, but it's a big one. And so thankfully this window allows that one-time change.
Okay. Yeah, those little scammers.
Yeah, well, right, that too.
Happy birthday to Melinda Killian, Jimmy Turner, Martin Mapes, Ed Cher. Look at you, Ed, 63. Sherry Michelle Carr, Julie Crabtree, my brother from another mother's wife. Oh, double nickel, 55.
Hey,
getting up there.
it's been a good year.
They're in Franklin County. He was the football, I think he was a quarterback. Air Force. Yeah, he's a big man.
Very nice.
Andrew Foster, Jerry Wayne Henley, the one and only, Mayor of Pelham, Tammy Northgate Banks, Dustin Atchley, Ralph Bristol. Remember Ralph Bristol?
Yes.
That's his birthday today. What's he doing these days, I wonder?
I don't know. I really haven't heard the name in some time.
Forever, yeah. WTN's got a new kind of lineup.
Is that
They've
right?
got that Chris Hand.
Yeah, they do. They've shifted quite a bit.
And this other guy.
Matt Murphy in the afternoon.
Matt Murphy's.
Is there a guy in between there?
Yeah, there's that guy in the middle. He's
haven't
different.
Yeah.
He's different.
Yeah, my wife said no.
Yeah,
not doing it.
Yeah, he's different.
Yeah.
He's an acquired taste, I think.
Yeah.
Jimmy Brown, Candace I don't even know how to pronounce her last name. Candace Austin. She's got a hyphen.
Okay.
David Mullis, Gary Harmon. I took my gun permit class from him many years ago. Dad and I did.
That's great.
And I'll tell you the funny story about that, but it was hilarious.
To hear.
Yeah, and Mike Bell. So happy birthday to you folks. Prayer list. I'm going to do the prayer list, and then if you don't mind saying a prayer over
I'd
these
love
folks.
to, yes.
All right. Let's continue to pray for Danny and Dave Crabtree. Mm-hmm. Charlie McDowell had a bizarre nosebleed. It just was buckets of blood coming out.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
And they
had to go to the ER. Blood, like buckets.
Well, they identified the source. And
they had to
they'd have to cauterize
it,
yeah.
But then it happened again. They said just don't blow your nose.
Oh.
But anyway, when you lose that kind of blood,
wow.
it's a building up period, and
Absolutely.
There's spring crops. There's lots to be done. He needs. Anyway,
okay.
Secure Mix has got a surgery on the 19th. We've got Daffy and Louis Nolan, Larry Parson, Frank Brawley, Herschel Parson family. He did pass. Charles Brown, Steve Melton, Cheryl Foshee, Granny Barb's babies. Frida had a back issue. George Fincher Jr. family, Turkey. They found out he's had all these health issues. And he just had open heart, and they found out he has Lyme disease. Speaking of autoimmune,
yeah,
and they said that could have caused lots of these issues.
Absolutely, yeah.
How bizarre is that?
It's so bizarre, I know.
And he had no idea. Patsy Kennedy, Blondell Lockhart, Baby Denny, Joni Baby Denny, Dolly Young, Dalchi and Christine Nunley. I've called him Uncle Alex. I don't know how many times. I may have to own it. Paula Tate, Donna Childers, Erica Whitman, Ronnie Reeves, Brother Crichton, all the Unspoken, and of course Miss Ophelia and Miss Dola. And I'm going to let you have it,
Let's
sir.
do. Father, thank you for the opportunity to come before you today and together before you with these names and these dear folks and these dear families that have been presented, we bring to you. And so many of them we know so well, and many that we are burdened personally for and feel, but many others, as was noted, unspoken, things that we don't know about, things that are being dealt with today. I pray that your presence, that your strength, your comfort, your peace, and very importantly, your healing hand, your provision would be provided to each and every individual and family that's been noted and those that are watching and listening today. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this beautiful day. This is the day that you have made. And we will. That's a choice we choose to make. Rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you. Thank you for your Son, our Savior. And in his name, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Oh,
Amen.
God, I miss those prayers.
Thank you.
All right, I will be your secretary.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
I still am.
I love it. I love it. Bobblehead Trump.
Bobblehead Trump.
Man.
You know, we had a literary wax museum at Monteagle Elementary, and a woman, one of our moms, asked me for some Trump gear. I'm like, I have some. And she came to the right place. And so I went around and videoed Facebook Live some of the fun ones. There was like 4 or 5 Trumps. There was an Elon Musk. There was a Melania Trump. There was a J.D. Vance.
Really?
It was...
That's pretty wild.
I mean, there was an Abraham Lincoln. There was a Thomas and Jefferson. There was a Dolly Parton.
But we're living in historic times. People are recognizing it.
It was so uplifting to see our kids.
That's amazing.
And they had to do a speech about their character.
Really?
Yeah, and I asked just one, the one that I gave the stuff to. I'm like, well, I hear you have a special talent. And he did the Trump dance. I'm so proud of these kids. I can't stand it.
That is just beautiful.
But yeah, we're all of that above. All right, so I'm your secretary.
Okay, we're grabbing a couple calls.
Yep, we're going to grab a couple
here we
calls.
go. All right, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to see you all up there this morning.
It's Miss Ophelia.
Thank you for watching and calling in, Miss Ophelia.
Well, yes, I like watching you too.
Thank you so much. You sound like you're going to have a great day.
Well, I hope so. And so.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I hope you have a fabulous day. I know we've got weather coming up on Saturday, so just kind of get prepared on that.
A little rough on Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could be on the line for like an F2.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
All right, Miss Ophelia, you have a wonderful day, honey.
Yes.
Looks like it's going to be a pretty day out there.
I hope so.
Yes, absolutely.
You all have a very good day today also.
Thank you. Happy Thursday.
Bye, Miss Ophelia.
Bye-bye.
Speaking of living long and still amazing.
Yes.
So.
I mean, isn't that incredible? And that's where we want to be if we're here. I mean, it's been a quiet morning on the phone. I don't know why. Someone must have been talking the entire
Well,
time.
I think we've gone to new levels here at GCTV with our Tim all hour. We did hour and 20 minutes.
That's did I say the best listener in the world?
I could listen to him all the time.
I'm
so much.
So honored to be here and back and visiting. There's so much we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking with folks on different things, but don't forget lifepathpredictor.com. Lifepathpredictor.
Life, if we choose to,
that would be that survey that would provide a lifespan, health span, care span report, lifepathpredictor.com. Now, when you go there, you can just look at what it's about, and then from there, you can actually, can I push this?
I don't know, we'll see.
You can just lock a time real quick. We can talk, okay?
Right.
All right, good morning.
Good morning, Tim and Ida.
Good morning.
Barbara, what are you doing, girl? I haven't talked to you in a minute.
I've been watching. I just didn't feel good, so I didn't call in.
Well, you did hear that Miss Gail is coming in next week, I believe she said, because I've got that fancy booking app now. And Barbara had a scam issue that she was concerned about, and that is folks taking your property online. Like they don't have to go to the Register of Deeds, and they can just...
Like title theft.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And Gail says, I can talk about that.
Good.
Can you believe that?
It's shocking. It's unbelievable, but it's so important that we know.
I know.
Yeah, good.
Any questions, Miss Barbara?
No, I've enjoyed listening to Tim, and he makes a very good point. In fact, I tested myself to see if I could stand up without putting my hands down, or and I did it. So,
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's so great.
72 in June, so,
That's
I'm
so
doing
great.
pretty good, I think.
You certainly are. I love to hear that. Thank you for sharing that this morning, Barbara.
Well, you're more than welcome, and thank you, Iva, for checking into that. I did hear you tell Frida that a gal was coming on and she's finding out the answer to my question.
Yeah, you know how I am. It goes on the list. It may take a minute to get these answers, but I plug along, Barbara.
I know. That's what I said, Iva, or get her done.
I will get it done. You know that's the case.
Yep.
All right, Miss Barbara. How them babies?
Well, they had to take Carmen to the doctor Tuesday. She's got strep throat.
We have so much sickness.
She'll be out of school a couple of days, and the others are getting better, but it's just been a long, slow process.
Yeah, I've been hearing, there's so much RSV. I just talked to our utilities guy, John Condra, yesterday. He goes, well, it tried to kill me. Yeah, I mean,
It's
pneumonia
serious.
and
Yes.
RSV, he goes, I've never in my life.
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Some of mine's had RSV, some had strep throat, some had ear infections. One had to have surgery, and they've had COVID. It's just been ongoing, but like I told Tim, I got a dozen of great-grandchildren.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
Well, and she worries about each and every one of them, and we had a string of sickness.
Yes,
A
ma'am,
string.
we did. But hopefully with the weather getting better, they're going to pull out of this and spring back.
Yes, spring back.
Well, yesterday, and I believe in that sunlight, that vitamin D, if I like a lizard, just sit out there and soak up the sun, I feel so much better.
Yes, everybody does.
It's just different day. So, let's get rid of that sickness and move on.
Yeah, well, they've been sanitizing the houses, and because it's several different houses, they've been sanitizing them and, opening the windows when they could and trying to do everything they can to get everything out, so. But y'all have a blessed day.
Bye, Barbara.
I enjoyed everything that y'all had to say this morning.
Thank you.
Barbara, as you know, was in the healthcare field.
Amazing.
And so she knows all of what we were talking about, don't you, Barbara?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it. I wouldn't say I know all, but I do know a lot of it.
A lot more than I do. Thanks for sharing with us, Barbara.
Barbara, would you want to know when your death date would be? Predicted death rate?
I don't think I would have.
Yeah, I said that to Tim. I said, no.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
But now I'm going to ponder it.
I'm just going to take my chances when the good Lord gets ready for me, because
Amen.
I worry enough about that now, because I'm in the winter time of my life.
Yes.
And I worry about that and leaving my babies behind and just trying to leave enough with them to so that they'll know what to do without calling and saying, Nana, I need to know what to do with this or about that,
Right. See how beautiful.
Got to pass it on. We have to have purpose.
Absolutely.
And your purpose are those babies.
Beautiful.
That's my purpose right now. I said they keep me going.
Amen. I love that.
I love them all.
I know you do.
It's beautiful.
All right, Granny Barb, you have a fabulous day, honey.
Thank you, and y'all have a blessed, fabulous day.
Thank
you, honey.
You too. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, there's Mr. Nose. I tell Charlie, that's scary. That was scary, wasn't it?
It most certainly was.
My goodness. It's just unbelievable.
Buckets.
Unbelievable.
You feeling good though now? Are you on the road?
I think so.
Wow.
I'm telling you. Would you, all right, the question of the day, would you want to know when the end is?
No.
No. You?
Right? That was my whole initial thing. I'm like, I don't want to know.
Right. Right.
But now I do. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be here when it gets here.
I like that. I might use that, Charlie. I'll be here when it gets here.
Well,
yeah.
You guys both have purpose, so I think you're okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're getting better.
Well, praise.
I'm glad.
Any questions for Tim while I got him?
Now, just get ready for that storm we're going to have Saturday.
I know, batten down the hatches. I hope it shears like it does. It seems to always do. Our last EF2 was 2018.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It could go around us if it wants to.
Up above us or anymore.
Yeah, we're just gonna pray it just passes us by.
Amen.
Yeah, I went out there and walked with my tractor yesterday, and it was all I could do to stay off that thing.
I know you're itching. You're itching, Charlie.
I'm ready.
Now the mountain stuff.
Joyce, you keep him reined in now. He's got to.
I'm listening at you.
I know, fellas.
That's right.
Fellas.
I encourage her, whatever you do now.
They're two peas in a pod, let me tell you.
I love it. That's
all right, you two. So thankful that you are better and on this side of it, Charlie. Seriously.
I believe I am.
All right, buddy.
Amazing.
You have a wonderful day. Bye, Joyce.
Bye, hon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I have never heard him be so weak.
Oh.
And he said he had a mortality. That when we're talking about the mortality, the thought, I may not be here.
I may not make it.
Yeah,
I know.
like your mom.
It's a moment that when you face that, wow, it's a wake up call.
It sure
is. I want to say this about lifepathpredictor.com. The most important components are health span, care span, because you can influence that, right? So let's say lifespan says 85.
Yeah.
Well, if your current lifestyle, because remember, these are lifestyle questions.
Yeah.
Genetics play such a small role.
So we have a choice over this.
Right. So you're answering these questions, and this report comes back and says, hey, you need to increase your sleep. You need to increase this. You need to decrease that. Okay, so very important, the health span component that you can make adjustments for within that lifespan. Again, we know who knows the end and the beginning.
Do know.
God.
Yeah, absolutely.
God knows. We don't.
Really?
But yeah, that health span, care span component internally is why that report is so beneficial.
All
so
right,
don't
that eases me in that direction.
Good. Yeah. Don't worry about the deadline. Deadline.
Well, I just know that we have. I mean, at some point we have to think about it. I know Dad said that to me. He sat me down and just he finally did his will. And
he's how old?
Well, he's done. He
passed
at 86. Yeah.
But how old when he sat down?
He was like 84.
Wow.
And he said to me, he goes, I've just realized that I may not be here. I beat the actuarial charts. But I may not beat it that long, so we got to prepare. And so he got everything together.
Beautiful.
Thank the Lord above.
Beautiful.
And then he says, I'm going to leave here. My heart is going to kill me. And I'm like, not the cancer that he had, nothing. He beat that.
Wow.
But he said the heart, and guess what? It was the heart.
It was the heart.
And
people know.
But that was the hardest sit down.
Oh.
I have ever had in my life. And I remember with my mom,
bless you.
She died at 53. And the Christmas before the May that she died, she sat me down and wanted to talk to me about that or whatever. I couldn't do it. And I regret that to this day.
Yes. Yeah.
That I should have. She wanted to sit down with me, and I personally couldn't handle it.
It's my wife's mom was 53, and I remember the conversation about 6 months before, and it was, I mean, with everything in us, we resisted.
But you have to. If they know it was 6 months.
Yeah.
And
Isn't that amazing?
And she just said, she sat me down, and I, being the stubborn, obnoxious child that I was, just would not accept her death.
And that's the difference between knowing we're mortal and the invincibility that we feel all the way up until that point where we recognize, wait a minute, I'm not going to live forever here. But we do live forever. So that's a beautiful truth if we address that,
That is the beautiful
right?
truth.
But yeah, I think those are just such powerful moments. And the fact that you are going there, it's not just intellectual, it's emotional. And here's the thing, for the legal side of it, for instance, 5 years before care is needed, all of those components should be done. 5 years before care, not before passing. Before care.
So about 5 years
needed.
Is what you're going to need to print.
Minimum 5 years.
Minimum 5
okay,
years.
and there's very legal reasons for all of that. But prior to care being needed, so if care is needed at 80, then at the latest 75, all of the legal structuring should be done. We do all of that.
No kidding.
Right. So those are the things that people don't understand. Like, they always say there's what.
So you find out what your death date is, and then you help them plan from. All right, so this is what you're going to need to do.
Honestly, the death date per se, the predicted, lifespan is not the focal point.
Right.
Okay. It really is. Okay, wait a minute. Right here, it's saying you could need 8 years of care. We call it care span.
Oh, it can predict.
Yes.
Some of
I really probably didn't articulate that.
No.
Right. So if it shows, man, before the lifespan, cessation here, we're showing 8 years of care needed. Well, then we've got to back up here. We've got to plan for that, okay? And, a lot of times couples are like, yeah, we're just going to take care of each other. Well, my mom's still navigating that because she was just about gone. And my dad was not
prepared for that.
None of us were, right? So it's really critical to understand that care span window. What do I need to do at least 5 years before that?
And that test will kind of share...
Yes.
Wow, well, see, now
Yes.
that would entice me to do that.
Good, because the focal point, while we goof with it,
Yeah.
On the lifespan side, that's really not at all what we're fixated on, because it's that element of, first of all, health span,
Yeah.
because that's what we're here for,
Yeah.
is living healthy, enjoying, making much of. But then we all know there's a care span window. And as Charlie we don't know that day that something might trigger... now what's now he's bouncing back, praise God, but that's a warning light. See, to say, okay, wait a minute, how much more health span do I have before care span is going to kick in? Are all of my legal and structured affairs in place at least 5 years before care is required?
Yeah, because I am not going to a nursing home. I'm just not.
No,
none of my people have gone to a nursing home.
Beautiful.
I'm not, and that's what I prepared Taylor for.
But
I want her help for her when she cares for me at the end of days.
So huge. Simple story. Husband, wife, she was still working, 74. He got dementia. He was very active at dementia. This just happened in we're working through it right now. But 3 months we've been working with these folks. Daughter came back late 30s from California, left her career, everything. Mom, I'm coming in to help you deal with that. She had to quit her job that she loved 4 days a week. And it's all hands on deck for dad. That's what a family's about. We know that, right?
That's what we do.
2 months, daughter, God love her for all the right reasons, beautiful person. I can't do this. I'm going.
Sure.
I did 10 days with my dad, full time. Okay. I asked a home care specialist who's been doing this for 20 years. She has a team of over 500. I said, what's the longest you would keep a caregiver on site, consistently providing care to a dementia patient? She said, it just happened in this last snowstorm, 2.5 days. I said, I just did 10 days, 24/7, 365. I mean, not 365, but 10 days. She's like, we don't even understand the impact that it has on us personally. And I'm not, shocking newsflash, I'm not a trained caregiver, okay? But I love my dad. We started navigating this. There were funny stories I'd share sometime, and probably after he passes. But he wouldn't remember anyway. So, but this is the thing. Preparing for that care span, lengthening that health span, making sure these pieces are in place, and then supporting your loved ones. That's a beautiful plan to have loved ones be at home, but there's so many resources around that plan.
Right.
By the way, I've got a brochure right here for home health care.
That's what I want.
That's unbelievably affordable. I mean, right here, so like $40, $50 a month, affordable. Free for people taking medication. I can tell them how. But that's what that lifepathpredictor.com is designed to start conversations to help people address, hey, at a care span need, what am I looking at? What's my plan? Right?
Well, you know, my grandma now was meticulous. What was she, 95 when she died? Was meticulous in her lifespan planning.
Mm-hmm.
She moved from long-term care. She didn't want to go to a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to stay at home. She evolved during those late years, and she had it.
And thank God, cognitively, just super sharp. Game changer is dementia. And it's rising rapidly. So, you know, what decisions do you want loved ones to make if you can't make? These are all the little, they're not hard questions. They're hard to think about. They
really are.
You know, it's not like here's a little list of questions. Oh, what? That's what it's emotionally difficult.
It really is.
Right. And so then what do? Punt it to our children? That's not cool.
I don't want to do that to my daughter.
Right. So these are the things
This is adulting. I don't know if I can handle this adulting thing. I'm only 62.
Right.
I need to adult more than this.
Exactly. It's all, you know, what it comes down to is just maximizing everything now health-wise.
Yeah.
And then preparing so that great gift of preparation can be given to those that love us and will be involved.
Well, that makes total sense. I'm so glad that you're in that arena because I know it wasn't an arena that you originally planned.
It's amazing. God leading
you,
us to where we are. It's amazing.
Because aging America, I mean, the baby boomers.
Next year, our boomers are turning 80.
Yeah.
And 10,000 a day.
Yep.
Vicinity. Every day turning 80 indefinitely. So it's a massive shift now into that. As one of our beautiful friends said this morning, winter season for a massive demographic. And you know what? My brother-in-law said something really interesting to me recently. He said, Tim, you know, when you're out, church, shopping, whatever you do, just look around and start processing who isn't there.
It's weird.
It's our seniors. They just start retreating back, and then we kind of forget, and then they're out of sight and out of mind. And it's a beautiful group of people that have given us everything we have, and they're just trying not to be a burden as they finish their journey.
Oh, that just makes me want to cry.
Isn't that powerful?
That is totally powerful.
Yeah.
And the other powerful thing that you said is isolation.
Yeah.
Can affect your longevity.
It's so important. 50% cuts longevity by 50%.
That right there is just a light bulb.
Yeah. Call somebody today. Text somebody today.
Text someone today.
Yeah. So you do it every day. Thank you.
I do. I mean, we all can do something.
Yeah.
Something, and a text or a phone call is a beautiful idea for us.
We forget, but it's such an important part.
Any last words before we head out?
Thank you.
Are you
That's
kidding me? You've got the booking app now.
I do.
I only give that out to folks that I trust.
I said you're a glutton for punishment. I know that, but it's been an absolute treat. And I promise in a next appearance, which hopefully is sooner than later, I will participate in the flow, not just take over. I've been suggesting.
I've already warned everybody. Everybody's got the memo yesterday. It was Tim Day. I didn't realize how much of a Tim Day it was. We set a new record. We took the entire time.
That's incredible.
So I love that. And thank you for all you do for our folks. I mean, seriously, in this whole crazy world of scammers, it's good to know that there is someone who has our back that will fight for us.
Well, thank you for that. And I will say, as much as it's been horribly neglected on my part to communicate during the off season, I'm actually finally pivoting around with a beautiful daughter that now has twins and is at home and stepping in to help. I've got birthday cards going out for the first time in my career.
I love it.
And so we're sending birthday cards to all of our friends and postcards to all of our friends, just kind of touching base and staying connected, because we've been blessed to help so many folks that we love and we think about every day. Thank you.
All right, we're going to head on out. As always, appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for our indulgence today. We love y'all. And tomorrow's Friday. I do not have Gail moved to next week, so I don't have anyone. I asked Mike Parton if he'd come in. He's like, maybe not, maybe next week. So I'm on it, everyone. I'm on it. But it'll be just us. We'll get through everything in our normally regularly scheduled program. So, having Tim here, blessings, and we're going to head out of here to spread joy and sunshine wherever he goes. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.